In tonight's Tax Insider, President Obama's eighth and final budget. Today, the White House sent Obama's proposal to Congress. It would spend a record $4.1 trillion, increase taxes $2.6 trillion over the coming decade, and impose a $10 per barrel tax on crude oil. Joining me with the latest is Michi Iljazi, Communications and Policy Manager for the Taxpayers Protection Alliance. Michi, let's start with the price tag. What would President Obama's budget do to taxpayers and the deficit?
Well, when we look at it, it just released today, Morris. It's $4.15 trillion for the fiscal year 2017. That's actually a 5% increase over what President Obama proposed for fiscal year 2016. So first and foremost, the budget increases spending. And when we look at taxes, it's some of the same that we've seen, a lot of this tax the rich, go after corporations, things like that. But there's also new taxes that are in the budget that President Obama released today. So it's not good news.
What about the oil tax? Does it stand a chance in Congress?
Well, the oil tax, I will say, last week this was floated and it was dead on arrival, and we've seen that. A lot of these proposals, they're basically trial balloons the week before to see what the reception is, and this is a $10 a barrel tax on oil. This would raise about, according to the White House, about $320 million over 10 years, but the problem is, number one, it's a tax increase that will hurt gas prices and make them go up, and second, the president wants to use the money on renewable technologies and mass transit. And here's the issue with that. We've got billions of dollars. TPA has talked about this. Billions of dollars annually going to mass transit and renewables, and it doesn't fix a broken business model or failing technologies.
The DC streetcar program, we'll pick up another time with your cohort, Dave Williams. That is a disaster. They keep pushing that because of the federal money pushing it on Mayor Bowser. What a joke the DC streetcar program is. Now, House Speaker Paul Ryan promised to produce a budget of his own in the coming weeks. How do you expect it to differ from President Obama's budget?
So when we look at Speaker Ryan, who just came into the role, if passed this prologue, we can expect a budget from Speaker Ryan that will look to reform the tax code, give meaningful, comprehensive tax reform, not just to corporations, but to individuals. And also maybe we may see some entitlement reform, something that's really important and critical, because those are programs that left untouched are going to be really tough to manage fiscally over the next 10, 15, 20 years or so.
Now, more on that, Michi. We all know it's an election year. Much of the spending imbalance can be traced to big benefit programs like Social Security and Medicare. Costs are forecast to soar as millions of baby boomers retire. When will Congress get serious about entitlement reform?
Well, I think what we hope to see is a budget from Speaker Ryan that has some key proposals, and we've seen it before. And you're right, 2016, an election year, people are focused on who's running for president. In fact, this budget was released today instead of a Monday when the New Hampshire primary is happening, if that tells you anything.
Interesting.
Where people are focused. But if we have real proposals, if we have people who are willing to come to the table, including Speaker Ryan, President Obama, other leadership from both Republican and Democrat side in the House and Senate, then there may be an opportunity to do something on entitlement reform, even if it only buys some reform and a little bit of time. That's more important than doing nothing and letting those programs stay the way they are, because they're just not sustainable right now the way they are.
The Taxpayers Protection Alliance is also following action in the Senate that could ban internet access taxes permanently. What's the latest on that?
So right now, the Senate is looking to have a vote, hopefully this week, possibly as early as tomorrow, on a customs bill. Now, the bill mainly deals with how we handle trade facilitation, but a key aspect of that bill is the inclusion of a provision that will ban internet access taxes forever. Now, the ban on internet access taxes has actually been extended since 1998, but we've never had a permanent extension, and the Senate now has a prime opportunity. The House has passed this, and there's no opposition from the president from what we can see or hear.
Good.
So now the Senate has an opportunity to pass this, and it's really important because all Americans who use the internet, they should not be taxed simply for accessing the web.
Amen. Let's keep on top of that. Michi Iljazi, Communications and Policy Manager for the Taxpayers Protection Alliance. Thanks again.
Thank you, Morris.